What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Fan Awakens. We're back. Quick turnaround this week with the Andor Episode 9 review. I'm here with my guy, Parade. How you doing?
What is up, everybody? Parade is back, and I'm super excited to talk about this episode. Nobody's listening.
Big, packed episode.
Yes.
Oh man, this episode threw me for so many loops. I was so excited, and it's dark and there's sad. Sad. It's sad. It's dark. There's twists, and I love this episode. Before we go, I will say quick answer to not having winter wear. I do have this beanie which I wear all the time. So there's a beanie.
I like it.
I wore this Leia shirt I have, but with a thermal under it. So it's like
there you
it's
go.
close enough, you know.
Sure. I'm rocking my Ewok Death Star.
Oh, dude, that's tight.
Yeah, another shirt punch I got a couple years ago.
Shirt punch to go.
Yeah, they're really good. Check them out. Wish I had like a sponsor. We had a sponsor.
Right? Hey, shirt punch.
Yeah, shirt punch. Talk to us.
Talk to us. We'll talk to you for sure.
But I'm feeling the colors. I like the Jedi Order symbol.
Oh, well, thank you.
The blue. It's very nice. Very nice.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
But as we get into this episode, I am going to just say off the bat. I know we always start with our rating of the episode.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slap a 9.5 on this. I almost went 10. I almost went 10. I was close.
Wow.
But I didn't. Yep, 9.5. I put some thought into it.
Okay. I told you just before we started the show, I was debating. I'm somewhere. I keep saying 8.5, but I think I'm gonna just pull the trigger here and say this is a strong 9 for me. Even after a second rewatch, I'm like, man, this episode, the torture and the pain and
messed up.
Yeah. But even like I said in the last episode, this Star Wars show is making me feel things that I don't usually feel.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, with Star Wars stuff, it's like hopeless and dark and like uncomfortable. But like I said, the best stories, the best things we're getting here with media. That's what you want, right? That's what I'm asking for. So I don't think I can give it less than a 9 this week.
I am pumped. I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
I've been obviously we've both been rating them all pretty high as far as like TV goes, you know.
Yeah.
But excited to hear that 9. I was so close to giving it 10. It's so tough to give that illustrious 10 to anything, you know. 10.
Yeah.
It's just perfect. I'm sure there's something that's not perfect here, but
yeah.
I thought
anything that's striking you as not perfect or something you're missing.
No.
Okay. I think it's also like hard to do just because we don't know where this arc ends, and then we don't know how the season will end. So I think like I'm a little tempered on giving it like too high of a grade, because if we came out, 9.5,
yep,
it's gonna go down, So like, I think when we get to the finale, I think we'll have a better grasp of everything, where everything ends, any loose threads that we didn't follow. But I'm very high on this show. One of my favorite Disney Plus shows, and possibly going up in the rankings with Star Wars in everything Star Wars for me.
Yeah, which is hard to think of. I will say, even if the finale of this is disastrous, which it won't be, but if they just totally lay an egg, I still think it may still go down as my favorite Star Wars show, just because, oh my gosh, what a 9-episode ride. But this episode, there's so much to go through, so we should probably just get into it, because we can gush about this all day. What do you got?
For sure. Before I forget, we were trying to figure out who the composer was last week.
Oh yes,
it's Nicholas Britell.
Nicholas Britell.
Yeah, he's done the theme for Succession. He did some of the soundtrack for Moonlight and Cruella.
Oh, okay. Moonlight's got a great score there and soundtrack. Succession, I haven't watched a bunch of it, but what I did, it's good.
I heard it's good as well.
Music's
but yeah,
good,
shout out to him. I'm really enjoying the music. It's different from typical Star Wars, and I think it'll grow on rewatches of the show.
Yeah, definitely different
moving forward. But yeah, I'm definitely different, and I don't hate it. So
same. With this episode, we bounce around, and again the threads start coming. They're starting to get a little tighter here. We're starting to all convene. And I think the magnet of that right now is Daedra, who's pulling in all these threads. She's working like a master right now. She had a great episode. Um,
Yes, this was very the Dedra episode. Shout out to Denise Go or
yep.
Gao, however you say her name. But man, what a performance on so many different levels in the scenes. On the second rewatch, I've kind of keyed in a little bit harder. But the first scene is the Bix interrogation, just that starting up with about the fish in the net and like, are you a fish? Are you a thief? Like,
Yeah.
what what's your deal? And I don't know if you picked up on it, but just the face to face, just the intensity and like Dedra almost smiling or
Oh
smiling
yeah.
about the whole thing. I'm like, dude, and then like it was right at the part where Bix she was like, you know, you're gonna tell me what's going on, and Bix is like, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe me,
I love that.
and
Yeah.
like she had this like little twitch in her face
I
before she like
dude.
turned it to Gorst. Oh man,
Wonderful
I'm like,
close up,
wow.
wonderful expressions. You know, they are not these actors are not being hidden for any reason. They are really being
Mhm,
put on display. I thought that
mhm.
Daedra, when she's there, I think that even her more than almost maybe anyone has sort of gone on this journey throughout the season where she was always headstrong and things, but like her confidence has just skyrocketed
Yeah.
as she has, she's gotten these wins and now she's
Yes.
sort of moving up the ranks and you can tell
Yes.
that she's confident in what she's doing. She has this Dr. Gorse, this mad scientist who's oh my god, his methods, jeez. As they
Yeah.
like broke down exactly what you're gonna hear, I'm like, oh my goodness. And
Yeah.
even Bix though, Adria Arjona, she was
Mhm.
great. Sort of showing this, she's resisting it, but she had to see Pac in the last episode taken out. Clearly, he'd been uh, you know, very very distraught in his torture,
Yeah.
which they told him
Broken.
he's gonna be hung, for
Yeah.
that, and he gave him everything he knew.
Yeah, that was the crazy thing, like, all the information we learned just from Dedra, you know, giving it to or telling Bix what happened, like, that he was at a separatist meeting and met a woman who I'm assuming was Clea, right?
Yeah,
You
I
would
would.
just assume. And then, Bix was the only person to use the phone.
Yep,
There was, like, nobody else using it. And so I'm like, they really catered it to, I guess, trying to get to Andor is what
yep,
I'm expecting, right? Um, and then they said they had 6 face-to-face meetings, and we saw the last one, which was the introduction to, Andor, but what were the other 5, you know?
yeah. And they
What was discussed or
it's
transpired in those?
they talked about it when she I know we're gonna kind of jump around here, but basically, she interrogated Pix, and at least she didn't get everything from her, but she got every single piece of hardware that went through, her shop to Luthen essentially, and
Mm,
um, she's asking, she's asking if she's maintained complete political anonymity or like,
yeah,
being completely unbiased through all this all,
sure.
but oh man, that was so intense. There's been some intense torturous scenes, in Star Wars. Although it's always brief, the Leia torture is implied, although it's not shown. In
Mhm.
Episode 8, when Snoke is sort of getting into Rey's mind and she screams. But this was really, really intense. As soon as they put that headset onto Bix, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
What's funny is, like, the headphones, like, I feel like my dad had a set of those. I'm like, "Oh, I probably can make something like that, you know, for a cosplay or whatnot." But I wrote down some of the notes, what Gorse said about it. It was, it's not really physical, right?
Yep.
It's all just, like, hearing, I'm guessing, and, mentally afflicting, but it was, the Dizon Frey, the Moons of Dizon Frey, and he called it the Massacre of the Dizonites, that were a sentient species that had choral agonizing pleading. And I'm like, so
Oh.
whatever means necessary and just torturing them to get what they wanted on their planet and in the end kill them. I'm like, man,
And he
what?
said this part that we've pieced out meticulously, he's like, we believe it to be a set of children. I'm like, oh my
Yes,
gosh,
kids.
they're really, oh yeah, yeah, they're throwing haymakers here. Jeez,
I know.
I'm good, man. I saw what happened to Pack. I'm giving y'all
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
done.
I'll just tell you. You don't
Uh,
have to. I don't need to wear that. You're gonna get it from me anyway. But but he's modded it, layered it, adjusted it, and oh, they talked about the Imperials who were the comms officers who had to listen to it the first time. He said we
yeah,
found them all huddled together in various
in it
states of emotional distress beneath the
beneath the
bridge.
floor. Yeah, beneath the
Yeah,
bridge.
beneath the floor.
Aye, aye.
So man, I was like, what is this sound? And I love it when they put it on they put the cans on her, and then the music just goes out, and
Yep.
then we just get her reaction, and then it cuts to the drilling, the
Yeah.
drilling in the prison
Yep.
of the
Working
parts that they're doing, and it's like, oh man, it's such a cool way to piece,
transition
yeah,
between.
transition
Yeah.
between the two scenes.
Yeah, that's something that we haven't talked about enough, I think, and I think it's probably been pretty strong throughout the series is transitioning, uh,
Yeah,
because Star Wars slide to, cut to, things there's Star Wars
wipe.
transitions that we're used to, wipe to, yeah, um, and they have not necessarily done that,
No, no.
and it's been great.
Mhm.
We do though learn that Luthen is being we've learned they don't know his name still, but they're getting closer and deciding to
Yeah,
keep Bix as a witness. She can identify him for us
right.
is going to be an interesting angle to see. I don't know, is Luthen make how far is Luthen making it down this line?
Yeah, I think I'm curious how soon like Dedra and Luthen will have their scene together,
Yep.
which I think is gonna be awesome.
Oh, heck
Um,
yeah.
I mean, I would guess it would have to happen this season, right?
I would assume so also. I would assume so.
So
Probably in, finale. That feels like finale stuff.
finale stuff. I say episode 11.
Episode 11. Could
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
Could
I
be.
say episode 11 here. Um, but yeah, it goes. I mean, anything to touch on with the Bix thing before we move on to the next scene?
Um I mean, I don't know. One other thing real quick that I want to mention with sort
Sure.
of related to that is, they ask, what about the mother? You didn't interrogate her, and she's like, she's too old and frail,
Yeah,
and we're just gonna keep her around as bait. I'm
as
like,
bait.
she's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
pull something, man. She's gonna pull something. I don't know if it'll actually do anything,
Oh.
but I do think that maybe her being underestimated may bite them a little bit. Um,
Yeah,
I,
maybe B2 emo like has a thermal detonator inside of him or something.
maybe she just beep. Let's,
Yeah,
and she
let's all just
tosses
go
one.
into blaze of
Yeah,
glory.
I don't know, but she seems like I feel like they've done enough groundwork, even though it's been sparse. She's gonna have something up her sleeve,
Yeah, yeah, they're definitely underestimating her for sure.
which is what they
Because
always do.
because she's smart. I mean, even when they showed her back in the day, she didn't come off as
No,
um,
dull or like just
yeah, yeah, like she knew like, oh, there's no more poison in here. We got to get out of here. Which is also interesting. She was like, the Republic would kill us, kind of thing. If they found us here,
yeah,
like, oh, really? Dang! Like,
that's pretty.
you don't think about the clones just killing random people, but
But I mean,
yeah, who knows?
depends on who's in charge, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, that's true. And separatists, they feel a certain way about the Republic and all that. But yeah, they cut to the from the big scene to Cassian,
Yep,
um, going, "Oh, I'm gonna make my run," and he goes to the bathroom and he pulls that really bad panel and
dude.
starts filing.
Pump. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the whole thing. I'm like, oh man, it's gonna take a while, but I guess if multiple guys are in rotation
Yep.
working on it. So I love how they not introduce, but they show other characters at different tables who he's been communicating with about, possibly escaping, them being on program, someone coming in and like they're like, oh look, none of the moving parts of
Yeah.
the prison are electrified, just trying to gather more intel about how they escape. And it was interesting the words they used. He's like, if we attack the guards, here or like now, I'm like, are we getting out right now? I thought
That's what I
I
was.
think he meant like
Me
I,
too.
I think he meant like
At
change
this
of plans.
point, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He goes, we'd be able to make it up there and grab the guns and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was
but
really it seemed
thought he
meticulous, and
was a
like
good
they had
one.
been going back and forth on it, and like
Mhm.
I did like that scene too, because for a half second I'm like, wait a minute, are we doing this? Because like we attack the guards now, we take one
Yeah, yeah,
weapon, one guard, one weapon, stop it halfway, and then
yeah,
he's like, are you sure? And he's like, yes, and like it does seem like we have something forming, which is sort of seem to there's certain things that we were guessing last episode
yeah.
with Andy Serkis, this character who
Right.
is
Kino,
Kino,
yeah.
and obviously it appears a certain way at the beginning, and we get to see sort of the um, breaking down of not only his character but most of the inmates here. Um, but they go for the win. We got our old man. We've got
Olaf.
yeah, yep. And the thing is, when Olaf starts to go down, Cassian, he picks up the slack. He's like, okay,
Yeah,
move. And we have a chance to go for the win. We need to go
yeah.
for it. But as you see Olaf deteriorating, oh man,
Oh man,
it
it's
is
tough.
it you know, um I was messaging Sylvia about it yesterday, and she's like, "It reminds me of like '99," And like, I feel that it's just old character. You know that he's not gonna make it. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember '99 from the Clone Wars. He's the old,
Oh, okay.
deformed clone who sort of was just, trying to be helpful, trying to
Yeah, yeah,
do what he
yeah.
could, but really, a lot of heart.
Yeah,
But that scene was particularly hard to watch. Um, but in a great way. The actor killed it. I wish I knew his name, but he was fantastic. And just seeing like how the group, they bicker with each other, and it feels like a real genuine. Like I just wish I could sit in on a writing session just for Cassian's table group, because I think it's fantastic. It feels so genuine, and it feels like these guys are all. Nobody wants to lose. Nobody wants to fail,
no.
but it's tense, and this stuff is gonna break you down. And
Yeah,
it was rough seeing him over the course of this episode, especially just go down and down and down and down and down and down. Um,
yeah. Because even I think it was the last where he, like, couldn't get the little piece
yeah,
to go in, so he's kinda losing his motor functions, and then him kind of losing his memory. They're like, "We just talked about this a couple minutes ago," and he's, like, kind of getting aggravated with them, and then just kinda slowly, like,
yeah. He's like,
deteriorating
I'm
over
working. I'm
just
trying to. He's like,
yeah,
okay, okay.
and then him just kind of like, his head's hurting, and then just him, going down and them trying to, like, just cover him up, you know? But it was just I actually haven't had any older family members like that or see them, and
Yeah,
so I know this probably hits harder with, other people than it is with me, but even still, it's just really hard to watch,
yeah.
this poor old guy, and he
I
only
mean,
had 41 shifts left,
I
a month
know,
or so left in there,
and
except
it's
for, they might not be letting
getting
people go.
recycled through. Yeah, I mean, but see, the thing is like both my grandparents had Alzheimer's, and
Mm,
they deteriorate at different paces for sure.
sure.
But my grandpa, he was trying to work into his 90s basically. Like
Oh,
he
man.
just wouldn't say, and we would always be like, come on, I'd try and help him, and like it's just he just kept going, and
Yeah,
I think that it was just, I don't know that that's necessarily what's happening here, but just him sort of deteriorating like that, it did seem very he played it very well.
yes.
And so these scenes, like, they're hard to watch, and it does bring those sort of memories back, but I think that they're just casting people who are just really, really, really diving into these roles, especially when you think of Andy Serkis. And again, what he just gets better and better.
Yeah,
It's like this episode. I think that you get to see him go from that almost. I mean, he's always had a lot of passion for what they're doing in a way, but
yeah,
he really, you get to see his humanity over the time, and I think that Olaf sort of helps to bring that out because he's been there for
sure,
so long, and he gets to
sure.
see, he wants to see him get out because he himself wants to get out. I'm sure they've been here together for
Right,
a long time, and
right.
even if you wouldn't say they're friends, I think that there's um this
Respect between
mutual
them.
respect, and
Yeah,
they've gone through all this together, and just seeing how heartbreaking it is for him as Olaf ultimately, doesn't make it, uh, which pairs into more that happens later in the episode. But just Andy Serkis, I love that man. Uh,
He's really good. He's really good.
he is so fantastic, and I feel like, man, all these names that they're not necessarily. It's not like Chris Pratt is being cast in here, but they're big established names. You know,
Yes.
Skarsgård, Serkis,
Yeah.
everybody who's doing that. Even Saw Gerrera, you know,
Forest Whitaker,
they're
yeah.
all, yeah, Forrest Whitaker. They're here to play, and I love it.
Yeah, yeah, they're not just trying to get it doesn't feel like they're just trying to get the checks, you
Get the
know?
checks, or
They're
just
actually
like have a little like, hey, I'm in Star Wars, like, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. And Serkis has already been in Star Wars, so, like, what
Yes.
does it matter what but, he's bringing the emotion he brings, like, just when Cassian and Melchior are asking him, like, "Okay, tell us about
Oh
the
my
guards," and he's
gosh.
like, "No, like, stop, leave me alone. Like, I only have less than a year. I wanna do my time, and I wanna get out of here. Just drop it. Just drop it."
Yeah.
And but then like we said towards the end, things or even towards the middle,
Yep.
if you want to talk about that, where they're like, what's going on with two, what's
Oh
going on
my
with two.
god, that scene.
That was I was like I thought the building was collapsing or the water like came in, like that's what
Yeah.
I was my mind went to, like it got flooded or something. But it was even worse than that. They said 100 men were fried
Yeah.
for making trouble
And
or
that's what
whatever that
I thought. It
means.
was like a riot or something, or someone tried to, when I heard, when I was watching the scene, I'm like, "Oh man, someone tried to escape, and this might
Mhm.
change Andor's plans."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that wasn't necessarily the case. But yeah, it was
No.
so intense. And when, yeah, you're right. When, the guy was signing and trying to figure out what's going on, he's like, "It's two, it's two." And Circus' character, he's like, "You don't know what you're talking about." Like, he's like,
Yeah,
"You do not know." He's just like, "Shut up." And
yeah,
it was so tense, and that's something that they've maintained throughout
yeah.
the series. But they just, maybe it's recency bias, but I feel like it just keeps getting better and better, and just
No,
the
that's getting
tension
better.
of this scene. It's everybody's on high alert, everybody's on edge. You don't know what's going on. He's like, he's signing too fast. I can't understand. I can't keep up. Um,
Yeah,
and yeah, 100 men fried, and oh man, it was
yeah. They're like, "How do you know?" He goes, "It went through the tech off maintenance officer, and then it went to Ziska, who's the lead on." Because these are, I don't know if just to explain to anybody else, they're two shifts passing.
yeah,
So the night shift or the day shift passing each other, and they're hearing all these different things, and that's like the time where they can communicate between and so they're like, "You guys didn't hear about this yet," kind of thing, and
yeah.
so yeah, it's kind of crazy that yeah they. I wonder if they can ignite. I wonder where they did it because like you wouldn't think it would be the rooms, right? Because it's just that
No,
the
yeah,
hallway, unless they can do the beds too. Like, what if they can turn on that side,
that's true.
um, or even on the floor, like where the tables are at? Because they showed the group who lost go to the middle,
Yep.
and they got fried. So to me, like you don't just like show that because even I'm wondering, this is a total possibility. What if the people? Because I was thinking,
Mm,
I'm not gonna stand on that panel. Like, screw this. Like,
yeah.
who's gonna? You guys gonna come in here and do something about it? And then they just fry everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like any kind of uprising, they could just snuff
Zap.
out. Apparently,
Yeah.
so that I think that's what Andor's doing here is like intel, right? You got to get like all the information you can, and because they're capable of frying a whole floor,
Yeah, which
it's
changes things
pretty
maybe,
crazy.
you know?
Yeah, it
Um,
changes things.
Also, I love that line though, when, I was hoping for an Andy Serkis breakdown, and we pretty much got it. We got it.
Yeah.
But I love that line. He's like, "It takes 5 days," or whatever he said, 5 days for a single word to get down here. He's like, "How do you know
Mhm.
what's going on?"
Yeah.
And you can see that there's panic there, and there's fear, and denial, and all these really intense emotions that, I love just seeing Andy Serkis' character. He has this sort of, over the course of the episode also, he breaks down. He sort of comes to a
Mhm.
realization that, I can't anymore. By the end of it, I can't just do my time. Like, that's what he's been trying to do. Just do his time,
Right.
be a good worker. Don't give anyone a reason to punish him.
Right.
He doesn't even seem like he's trying to be the best. He's like, "I'm used to being
No.
in the top 3 on the floor," not saying like, we have to be number 1. He
Number
just wants
1,
to
right.
be there, and
Yeah.
not be punished, which is
Yeah.
pretty telling. And by the end of it, it's sort of a gut punch, letting him know it's not that simple. You're not doing your time and getting out of here.
Yeah,
Um,
because I mean, let's just talk about it. They said, what was it? I can't remember exactly the phrasing, but they're like, They just moved one guy who was supposed to be out
One
to another
guy. Yep. He
to another
one
floor.
guy from like 4 went to 2 or whatever the case was, and
Yeah,
it got out. Yep.
and you're like, oh man, because now I think has Olaf just been
Yeah.
in the system and just moved to their floor, and he's like just kind of lost it because like you when they did the episode before, they were like, these are the physically able, and so Olaf doesn't seem like a physically able
No, he
person,
does
so
not.
he must just be there longer than the time that he's supposed to be sentenced for. So
Yeah. I wonder how long
it's
they've
just
been running this place, you
crazy,
know?
probably for a while. But like you would, I don't know, because like if they're building Death Star, like you know what I'm saying? Like if it's Death Star
Yep.
parts, I would say it could be running earlier if it was like TIE parts, but yeah, it's just
Yeah.
hard to say. The other crazy rumor I heard was what if they're just building parts for the facility to
Oh my
function?
god.
Like you're
You're
building
not
your own
wrong. They
prison.
look like the parts look like all the tunnels and stuff that they're that
Sure.
they're going. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. It
Just
could
keep it
totally be just
running.
that. Just yeah, it just runs on itself.
Oh my
It would be
gosh. I wouldn't
awful,
even
right?
put it past them. That would be so heartbreaking if they find out these parts are so inconsequential and just I don't know, something dumb. You know,
Mundane.
something
Yeah.
mundane, it's a coffee maker. I don't know. Uh
Yeah, because I mean, like, how torturous would it be? Like, you're building the bars to your own prison, kind of thing,
yeah.
or the chains to your own, your own shackles. It'd be just a whole nother level of just messed up.
Oh,
So, yeah, but I love where Kino kind of loses it, hearing that two is
all of them, yeah.
got fried, and Melshi's like, oh, they were finally free, and he just kind of swings on him, and
Oh, he's
and
yeah. He
Cassian's like,
lost it.
"Yo, keep it together." He said, "The less that they think we know, the better." And then that's when Kino like listens to Andor and goes, "Okay, everybody, let's just, it's just a rumor. Keep our heads down. Let's just do what we're supposed to do. Try not to
Yeah.
get killed in here." And just kind of have to recompose himself because, yeah, there is no escaping this place. At the end of this episode, there's death is the only thing. Like Melshi's right. So,
And my thing is
um,
like, man, how are they getting off? Because I could be wrong. I haven't gone back and looked, but it seems like they don't have ships. It's like a ship comes to drop people off. I'm assuming
yeah,
they'll take that in the end,
I'm assuming they'll
but
take that
man,
one of
there's
those.
like there's nothing there, man. You imagine like you get out, you escape, and then it's like, oh, here's the ocean 100 feet down.
Yeah,
Uh, it
yeah,
they've designed this thing from a prison aspect. Seemingly very meticulously, very well.
right.
I'm thinking Dr. Gorse's messed up mind came up with this. Um, he'd have
Yeah.
this would be a great field trip for him. He would have a
Oh
great
yeah,
time.
he loves it. He would love it. I mean, in between, we get back to Mon Mothma pleading to the Senate
We do.
about PORD, and it's a crazy scene of people booing, people saying "listen to her," saying she's right, and then that ticking sound. I wasn't sure what it was before. It sounds like someone's like hitting something, but it was the
Yeah.
lights from each of
Oh,
the little
ticking off, right? Yeah.
turning off and people like leaving. So it's just like, man, it reminds me more like Parliament than it does, the US
Yeah.
Senate. But yeah, definitely nobody's listening.
Nope.
No one's listening.
And
So
that's the theme throughout the episode. Yeah, nobody's and
yeah.
Cassian even he we like to go back to that scene. You know, he's like nobody's listening to us. They don't care.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh man,
Yeah.
he
Thinking
talked
it's
about it
bugged.
forever. Talking about everybody. He's like, you don't know. He's like, I do know. They don't care about us. They don't care what we're talking about. They could just
Yeah.
zap us, and we can talk about whatever we want.
Right.
But going back to Mon, you're right. It was just they just further show how just disassembled the Senate has become in general, and it really doesn't mean much or do much anymore. It's a
Right.
soapbox that again nobody's listening to. She's standing up there and she's talking, but yeah, no one's
Yeah.
listening. It's even worse because she's trying to give this speech and just you're right, tick gone, gone.
Yeah.
There's like those,
Done.
and even when
Falling on
people are
deaf ears.
yelling, it's so like echoed and sort of um it's a lonely sound, you know? It's like you can hear
Yes.
them yelling, but no one cares.
And what's interesting too, I mean, even just man, the isolation of Mon Mothma in her situation,
Yeah.
like usually those little boxes, it's filled with like 2 to 3 people, and she's always by herself. Like, it's like, is she a I'm guessing she's a senator of Chandrilla, right?
Yeah.
So, like, there's nobody on her side or willing to work with her.
Also,
Uh,
one thing that I forgot to mention, I don't know, I think it was last episode. Maybe it was this episode. Maybe I'm. Oh man! But
which part?
we learned that Mon Mothma has been with her husband since they were kids. They were like
Yeah,
14, and so that,
yeah, young.
I mean, explains things to me. Uh, explains a lot actually.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so another Mon Mothma. Yeah, she gives that speech. It's terrible. We do learn some big news.
we do. The
We
driver
do.
goes, "Hey, your cousin's in town,
Yep. I'm
or
like,
your cousin's at your house."
I'm
Is
like
like, "Cousin?
cousin.
What
Yeah.
do we
What are you
want,
talking
cousin?"
about? And we go back home. We find out Vel. I was like, oh my god, is that Vel? She
Yeah.
used her real name. Two,
Oh, right. Yeah,
that was the
okay.
first. I'm like, oh, she used her real name. She don't care. But
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, apparently Mon Mothma's cousin.
Yeah, we
And
find
that
out
was
the
an
rich family
interesting.
that she's running from.
Yep.
I love between them, I wrote it down. She says, what she says, "Oh," Mon asks Vel, "What does he have you doing?" And she goes, "Who?"
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
It's like, she's like, "You made a vow. Shut up." Like,
It's
why are we
funny
talking about
because it's
this?
like almost like I felt like it was Cinta talking through her because it feels
Oh,
like
yeah,
she has
yeah,
to
for
have
sure.
these conversations with Cinta, and now she's being the one to hold Mon
Mhm.
Mothma down. It's like, yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, come on. Like, and like that, I love it just because. We've seen Vel shaken.
We
We've seen
have.
her shaken on Eldani. We've seen her shaken on Ferrix, and like she has to be the strong one in this relationship. So it's like very dynamic for these characters,
It is,
for sure.
and with Mon Mothma, like, it's easy to understand why she feels over her head. She's like telling you, like, I feel like we might be over her head on this, and it's
Mm-hmm.
easy. Like you said, she's so isolated. She has like no allies. She finally sees her cousin, and even then, like, there's uncertainty as far as like what they've done, what they're doing.
Yeah,
Um, she's trying to lead this rebellion, but there's so much shrouded in darkness, even from her, to the point that like she's asking her cousin what he's got her doing because she doesn't know.
she
Um,
doesn't know.
and
It's better if
so
you don't know, but it like I
see,
get it.
it
Like
is
you
better if
want
you
to
don't
know as
know.
much.
But like,
You
man,
want
if
to know all of it.
she's got to, someone's got to know at some point, and obviously she does finally at some point have her hands in, pretty
Yeah,
much at the head of the table. But um, yeah, it's really rough. Even that, knowing her cousin saves nice, and I like at the end she's like, you need to go be a spoiled rich girl for a little while and let
yeah,
things cool down. Sort of telling her to take a page out of her own book there. Um,
yeah,
which maybe Mon ends up taking a page out of Vel's book sometime. We'll see. But
yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite shots is that after that scene and Vel like walks away, and it just like pans out from behind Mon,
yeah,
and it's just like the loneliness, being alone in this whole situation. It's very intense, because you can have all these pieces around you, you can have this family, but even still feel isolated within it. It's so great.
and
It's
even
really,
yeah,
really
there's a
good.
what was that? I think her husband was talking to Vel about needing to find a widower, and
Yeah,
it's
you
just
need some man. You gotta get
yeah, it's
married.
just
What's
go
going
get
on?
married. What are you doing? Yeah. I'm like, this
And
guy,
then
this
Belle's able
guy.
to shoot him back. Like she's like, "Yeah, that's worked great for you guys, right?"
Hmm.
Kind of like. I love like, and Mon's just laughing because it's like family. Family's there and
Yep.
on her side. Like she wasn't alone for that brief moment, which was probably really nice for her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean it just it's so sad. I'm always so sad for Mon Mothma, and it just gets worse. And now I'm gonna be watching episode 4, and I'm like, oh, this poor lady's gone through it. Um,
do we remind me is Mon Mothma around in the sequel trilogy or no?
no,
No.
no, she's not
And
around.
then is she around? Do they even show her in Jedi? Return of the
Yeah,
Jedi?
I think she's at the head of the table when they're planning the uh, oh my gosh, when they're playing the Endor stuff. I'm pretty sure she's
Okay,
there. Yeah,
okay. I wasn't sure if she survives. Like it's very
I always forget. She definitely,
ambiguous
yeah.
because they don't show her die. But
No, I'm sure. Oh my gosh! And I think they addressed in the book Leia, and I already forgot.
Oh, okay.
Although that doesn't necessarily matter anymore. But
Yeah.
as we go, I love Tales of Jedi real quick, but they kind
Yeah.
of overlap a bunch of stuff from
Yeah. The
some books that I
books.
really like. It
Yeah.
doesn't bother me that much though, to be honest.
Yeah. I think Dave Filoni's talked about it
Yeah,
like a little bit, but that's for the
that's
Tales of
for
the
yeah, that's
Jedi
for
review.
something else. Just sneak peek, a sneak
um,
peek to the near future.
yeah, we do jump around with the back to Dedra again, a Dedra episode,
Yep.
and Cyril Karn. So Cyril
Oh
Karn's at
my.
the table with his mom. She's been snooping around his stuff. She's talking about the way he looks, and he's like, "Well, I got a promotion." And then like she's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you."
Wait a minute. What's in that box?
Oh, right.
What's in his secret box? I don't want to know.
I didn't even
I
think
don't
about
think I
that.
want to
Yeah, I
know.
don't know.
I don't
I
want to
don't even
see
know.
that guy's search history. I don't want to see what's in his secret
Well, the way
box.
he was acting once he meets up with Dedra,
Oh my.
he's he's like, "Hey, Cyril Karn." She's like, "I know who you are. Like, what are you doing here?" And he goes on this whole thing. He's like, "Oh, the conversation we had." She goes, "It was questioning, my guy." And he starts going off on justice in the world, and he like not knowing what his purpose was, but after he met her, there's
Oh
justice
my
and beauty in the
gosh.
world. And I'm like, oh my god, the dude's sprung.
And he's like,
He
"You finally understood how dangerous Andor is."
yeah.
And it's like, "Oh my, this guy.
Now,
I would have
my
sent him to
question for you
Narkina
is,
5.
Dedra was shook, but is she into it?
I hope not. I hope not. I really hope not.
I
Like,
hope
I'm
so.
nervous that she is, but I really, 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 really hope not. Send him Narkina 5. Get him in that cell with Andor. Let him go hands. And let's see.
Put the cans on him. Let him listen to the Dies the Knights Die. No, because well, okay. So the reason why I say that, and the reason why I think it is, because she walked all the way up to her office,
She
ran into
did.
the assistant, said we got a rebel pilot, and she's like flustered, you know, and she's like, and I'm like, it was kind of a weird interaction, but you don't really think about it 4 or 5 floors up and still be all huffy and puffy. So, someone saying that they're stalking you and a little interested and very intense, she might be kind of into it.
I hope she shoots him. Uh,
Just Cassian shoots
I,
him, pulls out a gun and just shoots
I
him
am,
dead.
I am,
Skeen.
I am anti-Team Daedra and Cyril. What would their name be? Sadra? I don't know.
Sage, yeah.
Sildra?
Cyril. I don't know.
Daryl? I don't know. Daryl. Their name is Daryl.
Like, what if our first like Star Wars sex scene is between Deidre and Cyril?
That might bring the show down for me. I don't know, bro.
And then that's your actual climax there, episode 11, 12 here
And
is
the episode's called Climax, and it's
the
just
yeah. Climb.
oh,
Oh
that
man,
would
I wasn't on the Raylo train. I saw that coming
I
from
was
a
not
mile away.
either. Oh my
I saw it coming from a mile away, but this one
I
is
blame the internet. I blame the internet. I can go for 3 hours on why I can't stand the Raylo thing. If you do, fantastic. I'm not gonna argue with y'all over. I won't. But
that'll be
oh,
another
of the
episode.
things that I just abhor in Star Wars, that is one of them. That is one of them.
Well, Star Wars always loves romance, so
That was
we
not
haven't.
romance.
I don't know if we're gonna get Bix and Andor anytime soon, but this Cyril Dedra thing's getting a little steamy.
Is it? She was far too nice to him too, which may go to your point of maybe she's into it because I mean, any other ISB officer, anyone else, I feel like throw him in the brig, shoot him, hang him. I mean, you hang people for far less,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and you just don't touch me.
yeah. He grabbed her arm
Ah,
and his little weird like tie bit that
you
was
know
coming
that
out.
he
I was like,
got that
that's
outfit
interesting.
tailored.
Yeah, yeah. He was trying to look his best. Oh yeah, she said you trimmed your hair and everything, and he was like, oh, thank you for the promotion. She's like, we just cleaned up your record a little bit. Yeah, he was just way
That
off,
man
man.
is
He's
lost.
even more off than I thought he was.
Yeah, same. That scene, I'm like, oh, I'm ready for her to just go Han Solo and boom.
But
Okay.
again, she might not have had much attention from some
Yeah,
gentlemen before, so this kind of it kind of it's a little flirty, a little
he's gonna
Dedra.
die.
Oh, he's definitely gonna die,
Yeah,
but
we'll see
in
what
arms of a
this.
lover, we'll see.
You know, I I trust them, but that may make me just hurl on the inside.
That might be my perfect 10 episode if we get that.
So we get we I just want let's move on from this for a minute. I need
Sure,
a
sure.
palate refresher. Mon does meet up with Tay again,
She does. Yeah, yeah,
and
she does.
it's a little
And now
go ahead.
I was gonna say now I think Tay is actually on the up and up because I don't think if he was Empire, I don't
Yeah,
think he would let it get this far
yeah, same.
where she has to meet with his name was like
It was Dave Sculdum.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like I don't know who that is, but
Yeah,
you think we'll see this character?
I do. I do. I mean,
Okay.
it seems like he's setting up like, and I think that this is going to be Mon Mothma finally showing us, or at least on screen, showing that she's going to have to be willing to get her hands dirty in some
Mhm.
way for the greater good and for a cause,
Yeah,
because you know he's he wants to meet her on Coruscant. Um,
yeah,
so if that's going to happen, I'm sure they're going to be exchanging, some good favor for some money here, or at least laundering or
yeah.
something there.
Laundering because it was 400,000 credits
Yep.
missing. She was like, I'm a senator. Why would it? Like we need to
Yeah.
figure out where this money goes. So I thought that was an interesting wrinkle. Yeah, you're gonna have to get your hands dirty there, miss, for all this
Yeah.
stuff that's been going
I
on.
don't know if
And
she's
he was
gonna
like,
have
I
to
wish
go
you
ahead.
came to me sooner.
Yeah, I know, and he went out of his way. He's like, I already she's like, you didn't already talk to him. He's like, I wanted to be sure that he basically Tay told this guy that Mon's in a bad way. She needs help. She needs you to come to Coruscant and help her launder this money because she's in trouble.
But
She's like,
that's always like this is always a bad sign though.
yeah, it is.
Anytime you have to get your hands dirty, like any justified character or any good character who has to get their hands dirty, it always backfires in a certain way. But now that information's out there, so now that's like extra dangerous.
It is, and I mean, we have to think. At what point? I mean, is it the end of this season or is it next season that Mon Mothma is not a part of the Senate anymore? She can't do that.
Yeah,
At what point? At what point is she underground? I think that maybe that is. I don't know. I don't know. It's really hard to say. It could be at this end of the season, could be next season. But she's. I don't know at what point she's established as like running this Rebel Alliance.
yeah. I know in Rebels, like there's that exchange with Ezra about
Yeah,
was it the Gormans getting killed or whatever. But I don't know exactly when in the timeline it would occur. But I could see it happening this season where
same.
she's like done and has to go or be on the run or whatever. Um, but yeah, it's just this little you know thing of having a relationship with someone who's not an unsavory character seems like not the path of staying on the Senate.
No,
So
does not. So,
um, there's also the scene with Dedra talking to Paragast about that rebel pilot they caught
oh yeah.
who's under
It's
the guy that Saw
Saw
didn't want to
was
work
yeah,
with.
yeah. What is his name?
Uh, I forgot his name.
Either way, but yeah.
Separatist, right?
Yep.
So um done messed up using whatever imperial thing he had to say he was imperial when he wasn't.
It's
Got chased down, but I love the conversation of how they're going to mask it and use it for their advantage and send them back and killed or whatever, and they're like, oh, it's an accident, we didn't do anything, we don't know anything, kind of thing. So it's like seeing how they operate, and
yeah.
like how quick they operate, and they're actually in it, and the rebels might not know that they're you know
And yeah, and Luthen
getting in.
planned this, or at least has his hands in this, whatever this attack they're gonna do, and now they know about it, and they know what's coming. So how's that gonna play
Yeah,
out? I'm assuming it's not gonna play well for them. And
yeah,
Daedra now has this Doctor
of course.
Genius, Doctor Gorst, And it's like when
Oh
she
yeah,
first heard about them, she's like, "Send him
send him over to
already on his
interrogate.
way." And
Yeah,
like in such a quick exchange, she had already gotten all the information. They had already, and
yeah,
Daedra, so quick on her feet, was like, "Let's just stage it as, an accident,
hmm,
faulty systems, whatever it is,
yeah,
and move him into traffic. Let him find him."
yeah,
And yeah, it is great seeing the curtain unveiled to the inner workings of the Empire and the ISB. Um,
yeah,
I think that at this point, Cassian is, I'm sure we're gonna have our breakout episode next episode. Um,
yeah. We have to.
and then the last two seasons is really up in the air. I mean, I assume I is he going back to Ferrix? I think so. It's tough. It's tough to say because it could Ferrix could be handled. The storyline there could be come down to his mom and to Bix and things like that. And he may not, but he also may. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think. I feel like it would end on Ferrix,
Could
um,
see that.
but there's still the threat of the sister. Like,
Oh
I don't
man.
know if we're ever gonna get back to that. Oh, what if Marva, her last breath is your sister's still alive?
Ah. I don't know. It's tough because that would lead us into a season two where he's still looking for his sister, maybe, which could be the
Yeah,
case. But I don't
yeah.
know. Like, mm,
There's so much ground to cover,
there
and how many
is.
episodes are left? Three,
Uh, th-
three,
three. Yep,
three.
three. And 11,
Do you
12.
think? Do you think nine is fully Prison Break, or do you think it'll be half of a Prison Break and then like half of him being out? Because I can see them breaking it up like that, just given the pacing of episode to
Uh,
episode.
I do think that 9 will pretty much be him breaking out. I don't think there's gonna be. I think it's definitely gonna be split up with the other storylines, but I don't. I think by the time it ends, he'll be more or less freshly out. Um,
Yeah,
and then we'll probably pick up with wherever, and maybe we know where he's going by the end of it. Um, it
I
depends on
think.
who's alive and who's with him. Uh,
Yeah, I have a feeling he's gonna have to go back to Ferrix, just because. I mean, he can go back to Niamos to try to find the money, but
eh,
but I wouldn't go back because that's where he got caught.
yeah,
So I think home is the only place to go, and then he's kind of back at square one after all of this, no money, and
less friends.
yeah, less people to work with. But then Sintra's there,
She is there. Oh yeah, she is there.
and they're keeping an eye. Everyone, well, oh yeah, see, Sintra's keeping an eye, and
The
Dedra's keeping
ISB,
an eye
yeah,
on Marva.
full time.
So yeah, so this is gonna be really weird. Do you think we'll see Pac's death, like another hanging in the streets like we saw with Clem, or do you think it'll be
Hmm.
mentioned, not shown?
I bet we do. I don't know if we see them hang him, but I bet we do see his body in some form hanging,
I guess like the
like from his.
repercussion, like the direct repercussions of him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'll come into play for sure. I mean, he seems like a pretty staple of the community. Uh,
Yeah, you know what? I just thought that probably wouldn't make an uprising in the community.
yeah,
You know, it's interesting. We don't really get too much action, and I have
we
a
don't.
feeling we're going to get a lot
Same.
soon. I don't
Remind.
know if it not. I don't know how much the prison's going to show, but I have a feeling there's gonna because like I'm thinking about episode 6 and the Aldani heist. Is it gonna be like that? Like the whole episode is them enacting the plan, or is it gonna be full on just chaos jailbreak and then him getting to where he needs to go halfway through the episode?
It's tough to say. I think that it'll probably. I don't see it going as to plan as the heist went because that
Yeah,
was very 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 close to the plan. Even though, we lost some folks. Shout out
yeah.
Nemec, R.I.P. But um, I think there's probably gonna be a lot more death in this episode because it's so. I mean, because they're on what level are they on? They're on level
2?
Okay, they're on level
Oh
2.
no, are
Are
they
they
on
on?
2?
No,
4,
no, no. They're not on 2. You're right because they're saying what happened on 2. What happened on 2. So they're
right?
not on 2. So they're gonna have some levels to go up. I
Yeah.
don't know if. Oh man, what if they get to 2 and there's just bodies?
No,
And
no, those that has to be already gone. That has to be already gone.
I hope so.
They're not gonna I hope that's not still there. They just because,
uh,
like, I think I have feeling they just throw them off the
the
side into
side.
the water, right?
It's a lot
So,
of work though. I mean, when you think about 100 guys and how many people they have on, the level, they got 12.
yeah. Well, it just depends what the time
It,
jump is too.
you're right. You're right.
So, it might
Hmm,
be a couple more weeks or
I
whatever
certainly
of
hope. Oh
which
man,
but, but how many on this table? So we lost Olaf, so there's 6 guys.
6.
Obviously, Andor and Melshi. Do you think any of the other 4 survive?
I think
We got
Circuit.
some names,
Kino.
Jabok
I think
and
current Kino's a goner.
yeah,
I think as much as I would love to see more, I think that will be heartbreaking. Uh, I think it'll get close.
yeah,
Um, see, I don't know, man. There's two. I don't know if anyone else is making it out. I would like to say yes. We don't have a lot of
yeah,
room for a lot of people. We have the transport. They can take a handful. Um,
yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah,
logistically,
it's not likely. I just don't think it's likely.
me
I have a
neither.
feeling Kino's gonna be on the transport ship, and then as like the transport
Oh,
truck closing, he's gonna get a shot in the back or something.
do they? Yeah, yeah,
'Cause it's open, right?
it is. Oh man, they would do that to us too. They would with the Nemec death. That one,
Yeah, he's
and
gonna get hit by another
we
random.
made it. Another random crate hits him off into the ocean. Oh,
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the escape because I think what the Empire's gonna get word that there was an escape here on
yep.
Makina 5, and then it's gonna show their Keith Gar's face, and they're like,
Okay.
That's good. That's not Keith Gar. That is Cassian Andor, and be really pissed about it. But yeah, I have a feeling because like Dedra's trajectory for her crew is going good.
Hmm.
So eventually, I think it's gonna fall off,
Yeah.
and I think she's gonna have to turn to her boyfriend Cyril to kind of help. But I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. That's just me guessing. That's me. I have no basis for that. I just feel like that might be the trajectory because or an uprising on Ferrix, and then they blame her. She's the one leading it there,
It's
and
true.
thus,
If things
you
go
get
south,
punished.
yep.
So,
Cyril and Daedra are gonna have Disney Plus spin off, like it's like Bonnie and Clyde, but
mhm.
they're just I don't even. I'm sorry for even putting on the airwaves, but um, ah, I hope you're wrong. I could see that
Yeah,
happening. Um,
I'm
yeah,
excited
because
though.
yeah, me too, me too. And
Very
it's so
excited.
exciting because we don't know what's gonna happen, and we can't even, we can't see
Mhm.
it coming necessarily. We have predictions, and sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
Often I'm wrong at least. But uh,
We've been calling it pretty close, I think.
we've been doing pretty good, pretty good. We
Yeah.
haven't been
What's
throwing.
that? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing I realized is we didn't get any Luthen in this episode.
Luthen.
Skarsgård.
You're right. I don't. I was trying to look at my notes, but you're right.
Yeah.
I don't think we
And
really
we didn't
did.
mention last week he had kind of uh, one of the scenes we forgot to talk about was him and Clea, and she was like, "You're slipping," and then they cut off Bix, or they cut off
Yeah.
trans Ferrix, which was good because they probably could have
Yeah. Found
found
him directly.
transmission.
So
It's
honestly,
coming from Coruscant.
it's coming from our backyard. What are we doing?
But it's interesting too, talking about Clea, man. Clea is definitely one of the brains to this rebel outfit.
Yeah, unsung hero. It seems like.
Yeah, I'm wondering what her backstory is. Which I can't wait to hear, like why she's all gung ho about it. So
I'm.
I love seeing these other players in the rebellion that we don't really see because like Bale and Mon Mothma, Saw,
Yep.
like we know them, but there's so many other characters
There are,
that
and
we'll get to explore
it's
in the
great.
future.
There's so, and this it's just showing that before Andor came out, I've always said, and it's mostly because of Jedi stuff, but I'm like, let's get away from this time between episode 3 and 4. I
Yeah,
don't want any more. It's so crowded. You're just gonna show more Jedi's that somehow survived,
sure.
and then, but this is not that, and this has added so much to the story that I
Yeah,
am so on board, and it's changed my tune because this is giving us something different than another Jedi survivor who, is which those stories have been great. I love Rebels, and Fallen Order. I wasn't really a big fan of the story, but
mm,
like, yes, this is such a, I can't believe that I'm calling this a breath of fresh air within that time period, but it is.
yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely, and I've said in the past, expanding on what we have. It's like a good show, uh, with the backdrop of Star Wars.
Yep.
Like,
It's a good show first. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's a good show first and foremost, and I can't wait to get more. And I hope it trends like in this, because this is definitely like moving up in my Star Wars ranking pretty high, easily top 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and it might be pushing some things around in my top 3, depending on how we end
We'll
it.
have to do, I know we've talked about it, but when that ranking comes around, when we start ranking things, I might not make it through the video. I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough. I'm
It's
already
gonna be tough.
stressing over it.
Yeah, I mean, we could even split it like movies, and then
Yeah.
outside of movies, like the TV shows and stuff. I've even seen rankings of like just like Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah.
So it's it's
Oh
definitely
man.
getting up there, man. It's just so good. Like, it's I'm surprised it's not there's people who like aren't watching, who are Star
I
Wars fans.
know, I know, I can't believe it. Every time it feels like this thing is such an underdog. I get it. So is
Yeah,
Cassian. So maybe it's fitting, but like, why? No, you don't hear the same thing. Like, obviously, it's not gonna have nothing's. Very few things are gonna have the hype of an Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Um,
sure.
and obviously, it's coming on the heels of that show, so
Yeah.
it's
I think there's a bit of fatigue. I think there's a bit of fatigue. Like, we've gotten like Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Andor, Tales of the Jedi.
it just sucks
Yeah,
that this is a
so
one that we're getting that with because it's the best.
it's so good.
Oh,
It's so good. So yeah, I hope people again like eventually figure it out and go and like, oh, maybe I'll actually check this out. It's
yeah,
all out now, and I think it'll actually be a better watch with it all out.
same.
I don't remember if it was you who was saying
Yeah,
it might have it been cool to do like
the
put
re.
the arcs out
Mm-hmm.
in chunks. But I love the conversation. I love the mystery, because we wouldn't be able to do this
No.
without
Well, I'm
as
gonna
well.
start going door to door. Just, have you guys watched Andor yet? Hand them a pamphlet
Yeah, for sure.
with like our URLs. They can just, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we have so much to go. We have not so much. It is crazy. 3 episodes, and then I don't know how long the layoff's gonna be. I really don't think it'll be too long. I think more of the issue is gonna be scheduling than actually, because there's so much content on Disney Plus and
Right.
with Star Wars. But it's not that Filoni and Favreau team,
Definitely.
so there's not necessarily the crossover of like having to wait for them to be available.
Right.
So we might get this thing season 2 sooner than later. Um,
Hopefully.
yeah, and
I
I
think
think
it's gonna be like a 2024 thing.
Disney Plus has shown that they're not afraid, even though it annoys me, to release 3 shows on a Wednesday. Um, even
Yeah.
within this, I'm like, just come on! I would get so frustrated when I would have like 3 things to watch from Disney on Wednesday night,
Right.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
just spread it out. Who cares? But like
Yeah,
Wednesday is
Wednesday, Thursday,
ours.
Friday.
Yeah, let me. I mean, you can even do Sunday like HBO, Friday,
Oh,
whatever.
right.
I don't care. Like, give me something to watch after football, after
Yeah.
this or that. I'll watch
Yeah.
it. Just I hate. Not I enjoy it, but like staying up till 3 a.m. to watch these shows when they come out is sometimes. Mm,
It's a
but
lot.
it's worth it for Andor. Uh,
Definitely.
what's
Definitely.
what's our question for the crowd today? What's our question for the
Oh,
good
man.
people? I think maybe I mean we could go with the staple of who makes it out.
Yeah.
Does
That's a good one.
does Kino make it out of this or not? I think my answer is certainly no.
My
Uh,
answer is gonna be no as well.
your answer's no, or
Wouldn't it be crazy if he does and he, like, makes it all the way to, like,
he's in the
episode
Battle
12
of
and then
Endor. This is actually him.
yeah.
They're gonna superimpose him into the movie like George Lucas would do it, like with Anakin. They're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
change it in the super special edition that Disney releases in 10 years. It's like
Oh my
Serkis is
god.
there. He's an Ewok. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Let me know if you're Sidra, Sildra, Team Sildra or not. If
yeah,
that's something
yeah,
funny.
that's a great one. Are you Team Soldier or not? Check me in the box for no. But I just want her to kick his ass.
She's
But
not.
she's not.
She's
I
into
know
it.
she is.
She loves it.
Um
She's the little nerdy girl. She's finally getting some boy attention.
so so we got 1-1 here. We need the votes. We
Yeah,
need
we
the
need
votes.
tiebreakers,
I'm gonna
please.
post this on Instagram and stuff. I'm gonna post a poll, just to see where people are at on this, because it's interesting. Even though it makes my stomach turn, is interesting. Um,
I'm sure Edie at some point wants grandchildren. So
I'm sure she does. You're right. I'm sure she's like, oh, you got a nice new career
she's the
focused
girl.
girlfriend. It's just like,
She's the girl.
yeah,
I
right.
looked in your secret box. I see all these little love letters.
Oh,
Cyril, tell me.
he's gonna have like a little, like Anakin gave Padme the little necklace card. He's gonna make her.
Are you an angel?
I'm a devil. He's like, good.
He's like,
Um,
oh, I love it.
um, but I want to
Yeah,
thank you
that
guys
guy's
for
fucking stuff.
tagging along with us for this hour, right on the hour. So not bad again. I feel like we're right on target. We freeballed it too. Targeting systems were
Mhm.
down, but I want to thank you for joining me, man. Again, as
Of course.
always, where can we find you outside of the space?
You can find me on Instagram at ParadeReigner, ParadeReigner. I'm going to be posting on YouTube, so see if you can find it. I think it's also in the description. We'll have videos on my end dropping very, very soon, so keep an eye out for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Go check him out. Scroll to the bottom of my channel or in the description of this video and you can find his channel. Um, Definitely give him a follow. I think Parade's one of my favorite people out. Just talking to him is great. So if you guys have questions, if you guys want to talk about collections and stuff like that, hit him up.
Please.
You guys can always find me at the Fan Awakens. Right now, wait till the 11th. I'll be around. I just won't see your messages till the 11th. I'm waiting till Black Panther. I
Oh,
guess,
right,
and
right.
so I was on YouTube and again I saw another just a thumbnail that's it's
Thumbnails, yeah.
spoiler stuff. I'm like I can't even watch my sports recap here, man. Um, but you can find me at Uncle Sheev on Twitch, on Instagram, and all that stuff. I'm on there every day, pretty much still. But I appreciate you guys. If if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, drop a subscription, share it
Please.
with your friends. It all helps. So
Mhm.
I appreciate that. We'll see you guys next time, which will be honestly in about a week, probably.
Mhm.
So we'll see you next time. I appreciate it. May the force be with you all. And what do we got? How are we ending this? We're going
Oh,
light speed.
I was giving them the punch at Chewie.